Hello, and welcome to the ProjectWise Administrator Advanced Accreditation course on Managed Workspaces. In this lesson, we will work through an example of redirection in MicroStation configurations. This lesson will present an example of configurations in MicroStation. We will create an example of redirection as well as variable operators. The learning objectives for this lesson are: create an example of redirection. This will require copying files and folders and editing CFG files. We will also add an example of a variable operator. This will require another editing of configuration files. We will then open MicroStation and check the variables. As a reminder from the previous lesson, redirection allows the change of location. The example we discussed was to move the project so that they are not under the workspace. I highly recommend using MicroStation and the default installation folders for this exercise. However, the same process can be used with other applications. This image shows what we will accomplish. To quickly go through the steps of the exercise, the first thing we will do is create a projects folder on the C drive. We will then create a worksets folder under the projects folder. Next, we will copy the MicroStation workset folder from the workspace example worksets folder and rename it to MicroStation redirection. We will copy and rename the corresponding workset CFG file to the same folder. We will then take the example workspace, copy and rename that to example redirection. And we will do the same with the corresponding workspace CFG file. As a reminder, redirection allows the change of location. These are the variables that we went through in the previous lesson. We would establish a company projects, set USTN worksets root, set USTN workset root to allow the redirection. What we'll do in this exercise is I will show you ahead of time what we will do. Some of these I will leave for you to do on your own, but just simply describe what you need to do. You can then stop the video, follow the steps, and then continue. So the first thing we need to do is to create a projects folder on the C drive. Next, create a worksets folder underneath that. Now we need to copy the files. Copy the MicroStation workset folder to the projects folder and rename it MicroStation redirection. You will copy this from the example worksets MicroStation folder in the installed workspace. You will copy this to C projects MicroStation redirection and rename it. The next step is to copy the MicroStation CFG file to the new worksets folder and rename it MicroStation redirection CFG. You will copy this from the example worksets folder MicroStation CFG and copy it to the new worksets folder and rename it to MicroStation redirection CFG. Let's next copy the workspace. Copy example workspace folder in place and rename it to example redirection. Here's the path from configuration workspaces example to configuration workspaces example redirection. Next, we can copy the workspace CFG file. We can use the example CFG file, place it and rename it example redirection CFG. This will be from configuration workspaces example CFG to configuration workspaces example configuration CFG. Now the real fun begins. Let's edit the CFGs. The next few slides will show what the file results of each CFG file will look like. For this, you can use a simple text editor like Notepad, Notepad++, UltraEdit, or Visual Studio Code. Let's start by editing the workspace setup CFG file. We'll add company projects to that. We'll then open example redirection CFG file and add UST and WorkSet's root. We will then edit MicroStation redirection CFG and add WorkSet's root and WorkSet PDD as a variable operator. So open workspace setup CFG. This is located in configuration workspace setup. Let's add the line company projects equals C:projects. You see an example below of what this will look like. Save and close that file. Next, we will open and edit example redirection CFG. You can see the path of where that resides on this image. What we'll do is add UST and WorkSet's root equals company projects WorkSet. This should look like this, looking at the image below. Save and close that file. The next thing we need to do is edit the MicroStation redirection CFG file. This is in the new WorkSets folder called MicroStation Redirection CFG. This is a little bit more detailed in its steps. We want to copy the line WorkSet root to a line below it. We will then edit these two lines. On the first line, add a £sign to comment it out. This will disable the processing of that line. The next thing you need to do is change the next line such that it has the company projects variable in place of the WorkSets root variable. This should look as it's shown in the image below. So don't save it yet. We have one more step to do in this file. We want to add a variable operator at the bottom of this file. We'll add WorkSet PDD equals parent dev.dir USTN WorkSet config. This should look similar to what you see on this image. Save and close this file. Now that we've edited those files, we will open MicroStation and check our configurations. So with MicroStation open, these are the steps we'll follow. We will select Workspace Example Redirection, then select WorkSet MicroStation Redirection. We can open any file using the Browse button. We'll check the Workspace WorkSet icon to verify that we have a valid workspace in WorkSet. We will then open the Configuration Variable dialog box and check our variables. So let's open MicroStation. Under the Workspace pull-down, let's select Example Redirection. Since MicroStation Redirection is the only WorkSet in our WorkSets root, MicroStation Redirection should automatically come up. We can then browse and browse to the location you see and open any file. I'll just open alignment again. If we check the indicator down here, we can see that Workspace Redirection is our active workspace, and MicroStation Redirection is our active WorkSet. I'll now go and check my variables. Go to the backstage, click Settings, Configuration, Configuration Variables. I can type in up here a filter, so I'm going to type in work. This will allow me to see some of the examples more quickly that we identified. So I'll browse down here to WorkSet root. We see that is now MicroStation Redirection. WorkSets root is our WorkSets folder. And let's check our variable redirection, WorkSet PDD. This gave us the parent dev directory of the WorkSets folder, resulting in C projects. We can now close MicroStation. Congratulations, you've now moved your projects outside your workspace. To review the objectives, you created an example of redirection, you copied files and folders, you edited CFG files to implement redirection, you added an example of a variable operator. To do that, you edited a CFG file to implement the operator. You then open MicroStation and examine the variables to verify your work.
If you found this video helpful, please give it a like. If you want to see more such series, consider subscribing to our channel. Thank you, and see you next time.